everyone. Welcome to the Others podcast. I am your host, Stephen Penny. Joining me this week, a new guest to the podcast. I know him from Instagram and his ridiculous Star Trek vinyl collection. It is Chase Gozum. How you doing, man?
Hello. Glad to be here for having me on the show.
A pleasure to have you. Now, I think we'll probably get to discussing your vinyl collection a little bit later on. But this week we're going to talk about the third single from Seeing Sounds, and that is Sooner or Later. So tell me your initial thoughts and feelings about this song itself.
Honestly, it's not my favorite, but the first time I heard it, I loved the beginning, or the melodies, everything about it. It's just the part when Pharrell begins the chorus, and then you hear crashing, and then you hear the crash of the cymbal, and it gets very rock. Like, that wasn't my favorite, but it just kept growing on me and growing on me. It's pretty good, and I like the music video, because at the time, in the U.S. at least, I know we were going through the Great Recession. Was it like that in Europe? Or?
Yep, very much so. Yep.
Yeah. So it wasn't a great time in the U.S. and it really fit I guess the economy was bad, so it really fit, especially the music video on Wall Street and all the things crashing, and it was really good. Like, sign of the times.
Yeah, very much so. I think I'm almost of the opposite opinion to yourself. I really like the song.
Yeah.
I think the chorus and the bridge are really, really good in this. I like how it goes from kind of quite mellow to then, as you say, that kind of full-on kind of rocky bridge with the really heavy drums, really heavy guitars, and especially the big kind of almost guitar solo towards the end, which goes on for quite a while. I think friend of the podcast, Brent, played guitars on that song. I know he's credited on the album for guitars. I don't know if it's actually him playing on there, but shout out Brent if it is. But yeah, I actually really, really like the song. And the video itself, I'm not really a fan of.
Really?
I find, I understand like what you're saying. It fits the kind of narrative of the song kind of loosely in terms of things crashing down, then recovering and getting better. But yeah, I find the music video very, very cheesy.
Okay, that's fair.
It's generally quite well shot, quite well directed, but yeah, the concept of it I don't really like. Again, the whole Wall Street thing and the financial crisis, yes, it sort of ties in, but I think it seems like a rushed job almost.
I'm sorry, it was like too obvious when you you knew it was going to be Wall Street.
Yeah, kind of. And the song itself is it's more about relationships and relationships kind of failing, and the sadness that you get from kind of failing relationships. But then it's about recovering from that sadness, and things will kind of improve and get better. And I just think it was, they probably pitched this song to the directors, the Malloy brothers. Mm-hmm. And I think just, the financial crisis happened in sort of September of that year of 2008. And this came out in December 2008. So you've only got a really short gap in between there. So you've got to imagine the video was probably shot in around November time. And I just think it was... And again, there's some videos out there. There's a making of video where Pharrell kind of talks about, they spoke to the Malloy brothers and then they kind of pitched this idea and suddenly there they were kind of shooting it. It just seems a bit rushed and a bit of an easy choice. I would like to have seen more of a story behind it.
Yeah, that would have worked. Yep.
Yeah, because like I say, the song is more about, at least to me, my interpretation of it, it's more about kind of relationships and things happening in life. So I'd like to have seen something more along those lines, as opposed to just, there's this shit going on in the world at the moment. It kind of ties in. It's about things crashing, about things getting better, and just using that. So yeah, I think it's not my favourite video, put it that way.
Gotcha. when after reading the lyrics, and I guess I never realized it when you're singing along to it, that you don't really realize that the lyrics are just about a relationship, and then seeing that on like the Genius or when they break down the lyrics, you're right, it doesn't really fit the recession narrative.
Yeah, and there's also I think in the making of there's Brendan Malloy talks about what's happening in the video, and I'll try and read the quote here because I kind of copied it from somewhere. So he's talking about towards the end of the video when things are improving, when that man miraculously recovers from a heart attack that he's just had, and things like that. So he says the colour has changed to a much happier place. The lights are going from red to green, prices are going up, volume is going up, and the excitement. God, it's so corny. And that's exactly what I feel when I kind of watch that video. It does come across as very, very corny in parts. There are some parts I really like. So when you get to the chorus in the bridge, and they tend to cut away to scenes that aren't part of that financial crisis narrative. So it's just them with the band performing the song.
Bank vault.
Yeah. That I actually really like. I like those shots. I think the fit that Pharrell has in one of those shots with the tiger camo trousers, the light blue shirt, the glass. I don't know what the glasses are. They're like aviator style. They might be Louis Vuitton. I'm not sure. If someone knows, let me know. I think that's a great fit. It's a great look. I like those shots very much. But yeah, the rest of it, the whole financial thing around it, I think it was rushed. I think it's a poor concept. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it, I have to say.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that with the director, Emmett Malloy. He was the one that was talking in the video. If you look on his IMDb at the other videos that he's directed, it's mostly like Disney stars at the time. It's like the Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato. He did direct a White Stripes video for Icky Thump. That's a really good song. And then I guess so you could see where he was used to directing like Disney.
It's certainly a more poppy aspect that they kind of come from. It's kind of pop rock, there's like Avril Lavigne in there, I think he's worked with, and Sheryl Crow, kind of people like that. People that are big names in rock, and even these kind of like, more Disney poppy people are big names. But yeah, they're very different video concepts to what you would, or what I would imagine to go with an NERD song, especially a song like this.
Oh, another thing with the scene in the bank vault. Like you said, it fits the hard rock tone of the song. They flip to that scene with their outfits. I think Pharrell's outfit was not how people dressed at the time, and I think that was cool because he was like, because I didn't start dressing like that until like 2012 with the more slimmer pants and button ups. Like in high school, I had like 5 or 6 blue button ups they fit well and they look good with everything, just like Pharrell's outfit was. And even with his cuffed pants, like no one did that. You would get joked for doing that. Everyone would say you have high waters on, or yeah, that's how it was. More people dress. If you compare how Pharrell's outfit was to what Shay was wearing, you saw how baggy his pants were.
Yeah,
that was that was way more times of 2008 at least.
Yeah, definitely. So Shay's got kind of the I think they're like dark green, baggy kind of, I think they're like cargo pants, aren't they?
Yes. Yep.
A t-shirt and then the BBC red digital camo shirt. And then, yeah, as you say, Pharrell's got those, the tiger camo BBC trousers with the high kind of turn-ups at the bottom. They're kind of quite slim fit. It's reminiscent of kind of punk from the sort of 70s era, with those high turn-ups, with that kind of slim fit, with the low shoes as well. I guess they're sort of, I don't know what they are actually. I didn't notice.
They look like Vans.
Yeah, I was going to say they're sort of at least a Vans style, yeah. And they're sort of light blue, I think, as well, to kind of go with the light blue shirt. But yeah, it's a mixture of that kind of smart shirt, the glasses, but then a kind of slight punk element to the trousers as well, which I really like. And I think I could never pull off wearing trousers like that. But I think in that circumstance on him, I think it's absolutely brilliant fit. And I think it looks really, really good. Yeah,
for sure. It was definitely ahead of its time. And also, I think Shay was wearing. I think in another scene, Shay was wearing. Or it might be that scene. He was wearing one of the Cause shirts.
Yep, he's got a Course t-shirt on, yep. And then Chad's in there as well. I can't remember what Chad's wearing. I didn't pay too much attention, to be honest.
I know he has ice cream fitted on, but that's like the extent. I never really see that many pictures of Chad wearing BBC. It's always like in the beginning phases or on the cover art, but like outside of that, he was always wearing different.
Yeah, and Shay's very much like that as well. Obviously, they're not directly involved with the brand. I think as part of videos and promotional stuff, they get given stuff and asked if they would wear it, which I don't think they mind doing. But yeah, I think away from that, they like to have their own style and their own kind of dress sense. I think I did notice this week, Chad was posting some stories and stuff on Instagram, and he was wearing a few BBC bits and pieces, and he does wear the hues every now and again as well. Don't tend to see it from Shay, not that Shay posts much anywhere anyway. But yeah, they obviously get sent stuff and they incorporate it into their wardrobe. But yeah, they're not, repping the brand because they've got nothing to necessarily gain from it when they're away from the kind of music videos and the promotional stuff.
I did see that this week, and what's cool, Chad's son is my cousin.
Okay.
So Chad gives a lot of promotional stuff. A lot of times he gives it to his kids. So like those basketball hues, his son he gave him the promotional one that came with like a basketball. It's like this big box. Yeah. But like he gets all the stuff. I guess he picks and chooses what to give away.
Yeah, definitely. I guess when you're kind of that caliber of musician, and you're that well known, that popular, you get sent all sorts of stuff. A lot of it probably crap that you give to a lot of people that you don't need it. Some stuff you keep and wear. I think he's in a position where he can kind of pick and choose anyway. And I'll just kind of go back. Although we're kind of 15 minutes in, I have to jump back to the beginning and mention the usual facts that I completely forgot to mention. So this song was the third single, if I remember rightly, from Seeing Sounds, released as I mentioned, in December, on the 16th of December 2008. As we said, directed by the Malloys, Emmett and Brandon. Shot in downtown LA at an old Bank of America building. And for those that haven't seen the video, if you're listening to this, you obviously know the video inside and out probably. But if you happen to be randomly stumbling across this podcast for the first time and you've decided to listen to this episode first, Pharrell, Chad and Shay are playing janitors in a bank, or it's kind of a mix of a bank and a trading floor. It's a weird kind of crossover, kind of during the stock market crash, which, as we mentioned, happened a couple of months before that. And you have all the people there trading, and then everything, the proverbial shit hits the fan and things go downhill. And you see all sorts of, as I say, sort of slight weirdness in the video. You've got a random guy having a heart attack in there, which is really cheesy, especially when there's a paramedic kind of leaning over him, giving him the shock, and he just kind of magically comes back to life and sits up and smiles, which is very weird. And then we get money coming from the sky as things start to improve. It's it's a slightly strange video.
Yeah, and then at the end there's a cameo from Rob Dyrdek.
I detest this part. I've got a note on this which has about 5 exclamation points after it, because this is probably the cheesiest part of the video.
Yeah, I think at the time Robin Big was the biggest show on MTV.
Yeah,
and that's why when he mentions the MHV mini horse Viagra, that's the running joke on the show. That's what makes it so funny. And also, in the making of music video, he said that Pharrell made the intro music.
Yeah, so Pharrell made Hopping Over Fences for them, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's kind of where the tie-in is. If you watch the making of video, you'll also see Nino Scalia there as well, who's obviously on set, and a couple other people. But yeah, I just found that part at the end of the video. When the video ends, when the song ends, that's where I'll stop it and turn it off or forward it onto something else. I can't watch that part. It's that I hate that kind of weird kind of cut to in music videos, especially if they're in the middle of music videos. But even at the end, they're nearly just as bad, where you have some kind of, well, part like this, basically, where they try and incorporate some kind of humour, some kind of skit. And I don't know, I just find they never work. And I find them really cheesy, really awkward. And you get to see musicians really bad acting as well.
Yeah. Yep. And it just didn't fit the video, like, at all.
Yeah.
Topic. I don't know why he had two brown paper bags full of 1s and 20s. What he would be doing at the trading floor.
Yeah, he just kind of randomly appears. It's part of this whole kind of video concept and the way it's directed. You know, they wanted him involved in some way, or he happened to be around at the time. They needed him to be in the video in some kind of way, and they kind of, I think, almost made something up on the spot. And again, he comes in, as you say, with those brown paper bags with bills just kind of sticking out of the top, looking like really awful fake props. To me, corny and cheesy are the words that kind of describe that part and a lot of this video, all in all.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like another thing. This is kind of random, but somewhat relates to the video. So, like, the reason that the recession happened was the biggest losers were the Lehman Brothers. And if you watch Despicable Me, which Pharrell did the soundtrack to, there's a little bit where in the bathroom it says the Bank of Evil, called formerly the Lehman Brothers.
I never noticed that.
I don't know if you ever saw that, but yeah, it's a little it's kind of a tangent, but yeah, still kind of relates to it.
Yeah, those all those kind of animated films, they have all these weird and wonderful little Easter eggs dotted through them, which are always kind of quite interesting to spot and find. And also, I noticed in this video as well, we've got some slightly bad product placement as well. So,
yes. Yep, that's in my notes too.
Yeah, so I think there were some beats in there at some point, which you see in every music video, even now. For the last 15 years, we see beats everywhere. But the one that kind of you really notice, which is really in your face, is Microsoft Zune.
Yes, so at if you pause at the 227 mark, you see that there's a woman there looking at the NERD page on it, and she's listening to it by Dr. Dre.
I like how the economy is crashing. There are people having heart attacks on the trading floor, but she's just sat at her laptop looking at the NERD page on the Microsoft Zune download page or whatever is a product page.
And I know the financial world is crashing, but I need to listen to. Everyone knows, I just have to.
Yeah, I need to jump on this music sharing platform, which is about to die, and download everything really quickly. And yeah, for those that if you're not old enough to know what a Microsoft Zune is, Microsoft made like an MP3 player to kind of compete with the iPod, which never took off. It was fairly awful. And then it also made kind of a web service as well, where you could, similar to iTunes, compete with that, where you could kind of go and have all your music in a library of some kind and sync it with your device and just kind of stream stuff and play stuff. In theory, kind of potentially a little bit ahead of its time, seeing as now we all use Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. But it died a death. Obviously, Microsoft, I think you can see it in a lot of videos from around this time. They're obviously pushing it hard, and probably threw a large chunk of money at the production team for this video to get that in there and on the screen it's on the screen for a good 3 to 4 seconds, I think. So that's quite a big kind of product placement.
It actually flashes twice, once at 5 mark and at that 227 mark.
Yeah, Microsoft going hard on their failed products.
Yeah, I remember the Zune. I remember using someone else's. It just wasn't friendly for start using it.
Yeah, stick to your iPods.
Yep. The iPod Classic, I wish they made them. I still made them. It has way more memory than the iPhone that I have.
I've actually got an iPod Classic in my drawer next to me, which I have it's an original one from, probably around 2008 almost, I guess, or before that. Not that I ever use it, but it is just sat in a drawer still, and it's, 160 gig or something, and God knows how many forgotten songs are on there. So what else have we got in this video? A couple of BBC items. We've got the red NYC BBC logo hat, which, if I remember correctly, was only released in the New York store back then. We've got the BBC Season 11 Wolfman herringbone weave zip-up jacket, a very sought-after jacket. They were only made in very limited quantities, if I remember rightly. There was also, I think he's got the blue version in this. There was also like a dark or kind of olive green version, and then they released a leather version as well, I think the following year. Again, people will correct me if I'm wrong there with the timelines, but I think that's what they did. And yeah, as we say, the other kind of standard stuff, we've mentioned the kind of Pharrell fit with the BBC shirt, tiger camo trousers, the sort of few BBC bits that Chad and Shay are wearing.
Was that like black leather zip up thing that he was?
Yeah, so I think, again, you may look more closely than me. I think in this video he's not wearing the leather version.
Oh.
It's just the black kind of fabric version. And then there's a green one as well. And then the leather one, I think, came out the following year, and I remember he wore it like at his 40th birthday party or something, and was wearing it kind of in public quite a lot. But the leather one was kind of double the price. I think the leather one retailed for around $1,000 or something, whereas the ones in the video, the kind of fabric ones, I think they were around $400 to $500, something like that.
I personally, there's nothing in this video I would like search for to buy for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was like, I don't know, there was like a period of time and weren't as like I needed it.
Yeah. I think there's a few bits in this video, like the Wolfman jacket I really, really like, but I let's just say I couldn't fit into one. They're a they're a motorcycle jacket essentially, so they're very, very slim fit, let's say. And also the tiger camo print trousers I really like, but again, I could never pull them off. So you've got the red NYC BBC hat, which would be nice, but if I remember rightly, it's a fitted hat, and I don't really like fitted hats. If it was a snapback, be all over it. So yeah, there's a few items in there I do really, really like, but nothing that I think I would hunt out or try and purchase or even wear.
Same with me. I do like fitteds. That's my hat of choice. There's something like the NYC logo. It's cool, but I'd rather have the early seasons.
I think we all would, but you'd have to speak to the BBC in the UK to get them to remove their cease and desist from using that logo.
Yeah, I see the London one everywhere now.
Yep. So the London one's been around for a little while. You've got the Miami one.
That's new
as well,
yeah.
Recently, because of the Miami pop-up store that they've got going on at the moment down there, and you also have the Tokyo version as well.
Yes,
and I think, and as well, we saw the Virginia.
Yep, they did one.
The Norfolk, should I say? Yes.
That's okay. That's where I am. I live in Virginia Beach. I was born, raised here. When they came for the homecoming concert, Cream, that's a Norfolk store. I think Pusha T's like a part owner for that.
He's an investor, yeah.
Yeah, so with that BBC collection, that's where they also released the homecoming NMDs, which I was not going to go through that. The way that Cream did it was you had to it was like a scavenger hunt. They posted a picture on their story. They had people racing down the highways to get to that location. They would give you a bracelet. And then, in a few hours, they'd post another picture of where they were at, and you had to go to 3 different locations for it before you could have even the chance to purchase them.
That's hard work.
Yeah, I mean, I was at work like most people. I don't know, it was hard for people, and I guess you just had to have the day off to even have a chance to get those shoes, man.
Yeah, I know a few people that got pairs, but I'm not sure if I'd want to go through all of that sort of thing just to try and get a pair.
Yeah. I think, is the guitar solo cut off from the album version?
I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I don't think it goes on quite as long on the album version.
Okay. So, when I was a kid, me and my cousins, we were all really into Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and I think we thought that this song perfect for if they ever put it on. Now, as an adult, I gotta say, I really hate it. I think it ruins the mood. It ruins the mood for most of my playlists if I do include it, because I really just only want that like the verses and chorus. But when the guitar solo, it's time to skip button.
Really excited. I love that part of the song. I love that when it's going on, it's quite mellow, and it just amps up for those 20 seconds or however long the bridge is, and then obviously for the outro, which is a bit longer. I really like those parts.
Yeah,
that's what I like about NERD songs, is you can kind of mix those different genres and different sounds and different music types kind of all into one, and you don't always know where a song is going to go.
Yeah, and I was reading the when they were making the album, I think Chad and Pharrell, they said that they wanted, or this album was supposed to be a mix of 70s soul, something close to that. And you hear it. Like, you hear it through most of the songs. It's really good. I think this album might be my favorite out of the 5.
With the first being...
In Search Of.
Good answer.
But I don't know, like all my family, we're all disagree with these rankings, because I think most of them actually prefer Fly or Die. But I would say that's my third.
I think it very much depends on your age as well.
Yeah.
And I think each album has something different that different people kind of relate to. So I think if you were kind of a teenager around the Fly or Die time, that probably speaks to you more than anything else, because of the content and the subjects that are in the songs there. And yeah, Seeing Sounds is a bit more kind of broader. There's a bit more of a mixture of different sounds in there. There's a lot more, I think, experimentation on Seeing Sounds as well. Not kind of crazy over the top or anything, but I think there is slightly more than there was on the likes of Fly or Die, which you listen through that, and most songs you can listen to a few songs and you can get an idea of the direction of the album and what other songs are going to be like. It's all generally quite kind of rocky and mild kind of punk and stuff like that.
I actually have 3 copies of this on vinyl. Seeing Sound original copy was the most expensive vinyl I've ever paid for. It was like $90 for somewhere in Sweden. They had to send it to me. And then like 2 months later, we get a repress of Seeing Sounds in black, and then the other was a colored copy. I have all 3, and then I have all the singles also. Sooner or Later was actually the only single that was not made this album, but Everyone Knows and Spaz, those both have their own 12-inch singles. It might be because it came out after the album, but I would love to have it on vinyl. Maybe like a picture of the of them at the stock exchange or the trading floors, or them in the bank vault. It would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And while we're kind of loosely talking about it, we can talk about your vinyl collection, which has its own Instagram page as well.
Yeah.
Which is it Star Trek Vinyl?
Yeah, I don't know. That was the only name I could come up with, because most of my records are from Star Trek Entertainment. You know,
it works. It does what it says on the tin. So
yeah. So I have almost every edition of every single LP that was released on Star Trek Entertainment. So every album, all the NERD albums, the Clips albums, release albums, and the we call it the Clones album. Yeah. So I have all the OG copies except for In Search Of. So if anyone has that and wants to get rid of it, let me. I have OG copies of all those, and the reprint every time it was reprinted. So I have, like for Lord Willin', I have 7 copies of that album in different formats. I also have a complete Star Trek cassette collection, which was harder to come by, and every single one of them is sealed, which I'm very proud of. That like I was saying, with Lord Willin', like I have the original copy, I have press, I have the version of the vinyl, I have box set vinyl, which was a vinyl sampler that had 8. I have a original cassette with the hype sticker on it. I have it's a 7-inch box set. It's like all the records are on white vinyl, but they're 7-inch records instead of the 12. That's another box set. So yeah, I'm trying to finish it, and I'm trying to get every 12-inch single. I'm missing a few with the stickers.
So which ones are you missing? Which ones do we need to keep an eye out for?
One that I need it's only in the UK for some reason is it's When the Last Time 12-inch, but it has the sticker of Malice and Pusha sitting on a ledge with the When the Last Time text in front of them. That I need the US promos of some of the first NERD singles with the stick. I have all of the picture covers that were only printed UK. Those were my preferred ones because they had, the whole cover was a picture. Now I'm trying to get the stickers that they released in the US's of that. And I do need some of the Khalees singles, everything but Milkshakes. I think I have like 2 copies of that. They made a lot of those. I think my cousin, he said that his dad gave him like 6 or 7 copies because they just had that many of the Milkshakes.
All right, people. So if you have any of these in your possession and you don't want them or don't need them, and you want them to go to a very good home, then definitely get on Instagram, Star Trek Vinyl, and hit him up.
Yes, please. I will pay for these shipping.
All right. Okay. What's next? Are we done with the video? Have we got anything else? Any other points you wanted to mention?
I think we were done with the NERD hats, Fly or Die. I don't know. They're just not in any of the videos anymore. After I know there's none in the Sooner or Later video, at least, or the Everyone Knows video.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any either. Sort of. I'm trying to think when the last one would have been. I don't know. I have to go back and scan through all the videos.
Yep. Oh, that's another topic I wanted to bring up. Have you ever seen Chad wear an NERD hat?
Good question. Not off the top of my head. I'm sure I probably have, but I can't think of a specific one off the top of my head.
So, my uncle gave me a signed NERD hat by Chad, and he said it was from one of the videos, but I scanned all their videos, and I just couldn't find wearing one.
A video where he's actually wearing an NERD hat. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head. Again, listeners, there are some super nerds out there, no pun intended, who will probably know this instantly. I'm thinking of you, the likes of Star Trek World and such like. But yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head. But again, in theory, I guess, when they were pushing those kind of the NERD merch and the hats and the band stuff, they could in theory have had one for him to wear and he just chose not to, or a shot of him maybe got cut from the video if he was wearing one at some point. But yeah, if anyone knows of a video, can think of one, or has any images from back then let us know. All right, what else have we got then? We can talk about some pickups, I guess. Oh, actually, no, give me your... We're going to go back to doing this. Give me your score for the video and for the song out of 10.
Video, I'd give it a 6.5, 7. And for the song, I'd maybe a 7. 7's good.
Okay, yep. I'd give the song I think a 7's decent. It's not the best, it's certainly not the worst. Some really good elements in there that I like. The video, I really dislike. The video, I'd give a 2 or a 3. I give it a 3 just because of... Yeah, just because some of the fits in there are quite good. Some of it's kind of quite well shot, and there's some good bits and pieces in there, but generally it's not a video that I like.
So, are you saying possibly the worst NERD video?
It's got to be up there.
Yep, okay.
I think it has to be.
Forgot to bring up, when I checked out the Genius page for this song, there's actually a bunch of screenshots of Tyler, the Creator, talking about this song. I think it's...
Yeah, I noticed that as well. So if you dislike this song, then you are disagreeing with Tyler, the Creator. He is a bit of a stan of this song.
Like, for a very long time. In 2012, he said, when I first heard Sooner or Later, I cried. Again, 2013, I legit cried when I first heard Sooner or Later by NERD. I was 17 and a punk bitch. Yep, song is so beautiful. And
but I think it is one of those songs where if you are going through a breakup or a relationship problem, or I don't know, you lose a job or something, there's something not going brilliant in your life, and you hear this song, it's definitely something that could, resonate with somebody and kind of impact them in some way. It's one of those tracks.
Hit too close to home.
Exactly, yeah. And I think this is why a lot of people like NERD, because there are a lot of songs like this. I've talked in the past about how a lot of this stuff is kind of the sort of soundtrack to my adult life. So there are lots of songs I associate with certain points in my life, and there are, the subject matter is, I think, in general, stuff that we can kind of all relate to a certain respect. So So yeah, like maybe maybe he was going through something at the time and identified with this in some way, and it obviously affected him. And he's obviously a big fan anyway, but maybe there was something extra in there for him.
I think one last point. I think you said that this doesn't really fit the session topic that much. At the very same time, or maybe a few after Seeing Sounds released, Jeezy dropped the Recession album, which I think was more. It was definitely more geared towards US, at least was going through, in comparison to what NERD their video. Plus, I think more people probably related to that Jeezy album because more people dress like him, especially in the South. I don't think. I think the NERD thing was a little far ahead of its time for just their style of music was not.
Yeah, exactly. I think the album probably came, so again, this being the third single. I can't remember when Everyone Knows came out, which was the first single, probably a few months before. So you've got to think the album's probably recorded a year before that. So it doesn't really relate to the kind of financial crisis in any way at all. I think it just obviously happened to be that they had this song, they were going to do a video, and it happened at around the same time as the financial crisis. So that became the kind of subject matter.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. How did they? It's not like they could have predicted it. So yeah, it might have just happened to. Which explains the
yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
I think the directors were kind of given the song and asked to do a video of some kind, and yeah, they kind of obviously loosely tied in the financial crisis just because it was going on at the time, as opposed to drawing any real reference of it from the song or from the album or anything like that.
I would have much preferred the song "What" to be the third single. I think that's my favorite song on the album.
That is a great song.
I think that would have been if they had a video for that, I think I would have been more stoked for that than the Sooner or Later.
And another one probably wouldn't have worked as a single, but I would love to have seen some kind of video is Love Bomb. So we've done the video, we've done the scores. Yep, I gave it an awful score, or at least a video. So we've got a few other bits and pieces we can talk about quickly. I'll go through some pickups actually quickly. I did mention on the last episode the Bape sample BBC Polo. That finally arrived. So shout out to Momo Ape on Instagram, MOMO_APE.
I saw that. I'm very jealous. That is a very nice polo. Did he give you the those pins?
Yeah, so bless him, included in there as well were some promotional, I think these are stickers or maybe just cards for the Nothing album. These are like German promotional stickers. They're all actually in German, I've just noticed, or parts of it are in German. And then, yeah, a couple of BBC pins, diamond and dollar pins, so shout out to him for that. And the polo is really nice, perfect condition. It's hung up in my wardrobe at the moment. I don't think I'll ever wear it. I'd like to, but I think it's one of those where I will end up, I don't know, it will just end up sitting there, or I'll end up maybe framing it one day, because to me it's, a really important item in the whole kind of story and creation of BBC, and I wouldn't want to ruin it. I know full well that I'd wear it out one time and my kid would drop an ice cream on it or something stupid, so...
A little piece of history in your closet right there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to keep it safe in there for now. So that turned up. Today there was... I managed to get a jacket that I'd bought a couple of weeks ago. That finally turned up after randomly being delivered to a wrong address somewhere in Finland. So if you haven't seen it on Instagram, it's... I don't know what the type of jacket is. Baseball jacket, I guess you'd call it. It's a reversible one, so you've got the straight Billionaire Boys Club logo on the back, a couple of patches on it, but then the reverse side is it's not the Starfield design, but it's the kind of space design that we've seen used a few times with the robots and astronauts and the kind of crazy colours and stuff, which I really, really like. I'm not sure I can kind of pull it off wearing it that way round. It does look a little bit too crazy maybe, but the other side is plain black, so I'll wear it like that, and then you can get a glimpse of the space theme on the inside. And I did also have I've had a couple of messages in the last week or two from various listeners and followers about where I find some of these things. So I may as well kind of talk about it here briefly. I have to say, there is no secret place where we kind of find these gems or whatever they are. It's just searching the usual places and being patient, basically. As I said to a couple of people this week, the two main things I use are, well, eBay I tend to stay away from nowadays just because it's full of so much crap. But then Instagram, there's obviously quite a large community of us on Instagram. People are always selling stuff. You know who's legit and who isn't. You can get legit checks from a lot of people on Instagram to kind of help you out. You can just reach out to pretty much any of us in the community and people can check stuff or point you in the right direction. So people there, and then also the app called Depop. This isn't massively well known outside of the UK and outside of Europe. Some people, obviously in the States and stuff, will be aware of it, but I don't see an awful lot of people over there using it, or anywhere in Asia at all either. So Depop is just like an app that acts as a reselling platform. They do have, I think they have some kind of connection to the BBC London guys. They're based in the same building, and I know a lot of the BBC guys back in the day used to use Depop a lot, so I think they may know each other. Yeah, Depop is just used for basically fashion items and stuff, so you can go on there, you can do obviously your searches and your filters and things, and that's where I tend to find a lot of stuff, but it does just take a lot of trawling through a lot of crap, and then having a lot of patience to actually wait for the right thing to pop up. But yeah, it's a place to check out if you're after certain bits and pieces, whether they're BBC ice cream or any other brand, basically.
I think I'd actually do the exact same when I'm searching for. I think one I'd like to add is Grailed.
Yeah.
Some people have problems with it, but I think it's good as an app because you can filter out all the stuff. Like I set it so that it's like my sizes. And you just gotta scan it like once a week, and you'll find a lot of times the prices will drop.
Yeah, this is the one problem I think I have with Grailed is because it's called Grailed. It invokes a certain type of mentality, I think, whereby people think I'm saying rare in air quotes, the rare thing they have is a Grailed item. People put stuff on there for just ridiculous prices, way overpriced a lot of the time. There are some bargains to be had on there, I have to say, but they're not being in the US. Shipping and things like that are a problem over here in Europe. But yeah, I just find stuff on there generally really, really overpriced, and I've never found anything that I like so much that I would pay the sometimes ridiculous shipping costs as well. But there can be some nice bits on there. Yeah, someone sent me a link this week. There's some of the pink and brown ice cream colettes on there.
Oh, really? I did not see that.
Yeah, they're in my size, and I thought, great, I'll go and have a look, and if they're a sensible price, I may be interested. No, they're listed for $5,000.
Yeah.
And amongst our community, I know that other people that have these, I know if I really wanted a pair, I could get a pair for a lot less than that. So again, it's just kind of people's pricing and expectations and things like that I find a problem on Grailed.
Yeah, that's why on Grailed I always offer like half the price that they list, because it's usually not worth what they're asking for at all. So like when I go through prices, I'm like, oh, I know he'll go down on that because he's not going to get that. That's why it sits. Like that's why no one's buying their stuff.
Are most people open to negotiation and offers on there?
Yeah, most of the time. Like I've bought I got one diamonds and dollar signs off of there, and I got them down to like half the price that was listed. And I think that's normal items on there. I think with BBC especially, but I think with different brands it's a little harder. People are more snobby about the items. I did see a very cool it's an OG logo that was in different colored Swarovski crystals. I think Momo 8 have one of them, but there was one on Grailed. It was kind of worn, but it had like it was like blue, yellow, and pink Swarovskis throughout the logo.
Yeah.
I think he wanted like 500, which to me is reasonable because it's Swarovski, but some people want like $1,000 for.
Yeah, that's definitely a Grailed item, and I've seen those go for absolutely ridiculous money in the past. I think the hype with BBC stuff has kind of worn off a little bit. it kind of dipped for quite a while. It's come up a little bit again recently, and now it's kind of leveling off a little bit. So you can get stuff like that, which are, that is a grail item to a lot of people. I know I'd love to own one. But yeah, it's finding it for the right price.
And then again with eBay, I am too, because I keep losing bids for like good prices, and after you lose the bid, you're just frustrated for the rest of the day because you could have paid that price.
Yeah, eBay's one of those places where it was great back in the day when it was like the only marketplace and you knew you could go there and find good stuff. But now it's just full of so much crap, so many fakes, all the rubbish that comes with it. Like you say, you have to you sometimes get into bidding wars with people. So I will only ever go there if I know specifically what I'm after, and there's like a buy it now price for it, which I think is reasonable. So I think the only times I've used it in the last year was when I was looking for some posters, I think, like for my kids' room and for in the office. I knew the posters that I wanted. I couldn't find them like on Amazon or anywhere like that would ship here to Finland, so I managed to find them on eBay. Just bought a bunch and that was it. No bidding, no messing around, no having to work out if something's fake or genuine. So yeah, I generally try to avoid eBay these days. And again, I'm not a fan of PayPal either, so if I can avoid using PayPal at any point, that's always a bonus.
Were you able to get your that collectible thing that came out a couple weeks ago, the Moon Man?
No. So I did again have a quick look last week to see if there were any on there still, and there are some, but again, people are just asking sort of silly money at the moment. So
yeah, I saw 700 for that Ungrailed or something.
So I'm going to hold off for the time being. If I can find one at a decent price in the future, then I may be tempted, but I don't think I'd pay much over retail for it. If someone out there has one and you don't want it anymore, then hit me up. There may be a deal to be done. But I think retail was $300. I think I wouldn't want to pay. I won't say what I'd want to pay, but it wouldn't be much over retail. Put it that way. So
is that all for your pickup since the last episode?
Yeah, I think that's everything since the last one. There's some vinyl. I'm starting to collect that again. Obviously, not to the extent that you're collecting vinyl. But there's a couple of bits ordered, a couple of bits that it may have even been you that posted something about this one. It's the NERD Live at the Babylon album, which I think you can get on Apple Music in those sorts of places. And it's back in, I don't know what year this is, maybe around 2008 maybe. I saw somebody somewhere on Instagram posted a copy of it, and I thought I'd like to get a copy. Okay, it was you then, yeah. Yep. Yeah, so it's your fault I'm spending this money. So yeah, I had a quick look on Amazon. There was one person on Amazon who had 2 copies left. So I thought I'd grab a quick one. So I got that. And then I used to be a vinyl collector many years ago and then got rid of it all when I moved abroad. So I then went into that obvious rabbit hole of digging around all the different records, seeing what was available. So I ordered a couple of others. I ordered Frontin, I think, and another album. I can't remember what it was. And then saved a bunch to my wish list, which I may get around to purchasing at some point.
Which version of Frontin did you get?
I have no idea. Just the first one. The first one that I saw that was at a semi-reasonable price.
There's 2 versions. One is like an orange cover, and you see Pharrell wearing the original BBC Vashti in the picture. Yeah. And there's one, it's like, has the Star Trek logos all over it, and there's like a blue.
Yeah, I think I got that first version.
I was able to get the one with the sticker recently. That might actually be my most recent Trek purchase, was that one. And I think it was like $5. It's a lot cheaper over here for those. Especially if you're in the US. People ship for really cheap in the US.
Yeah, that's the problem being out here, and having to trawl through the likes of Amazon and get them from the Amazon marketplace. I was looking at some albums, I think the NERD ones, and they were, people were asking like 90 or 100 euros for them. Plus you then add, vinyl can be quite heavy, especially for an album. So you've then got to add kind of 15 to 20 euros for shipping, and it starts to get very pricey very quickly.
I looked up the price for the Nothing album, which honestly is like, is more so just a. But I think the only listed price I saw was like at least $60. Flyer Die is around in the $60 for a used copy. I really want I really want the In Search of. I know remember George?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a sealed OG copy of In Search. Shout out to him. He always talked to me about the my records, but also he knows his BBC history.
He does,
and
yep.
Him and OG Vault or Six Leather.
Yep.
Yeah, I love going through their page. And remember George posted a picture of him. He had all 4 original varsity jackets. You see that?
Yeah.
Those guys are crazy. They have all the stuff.
All the grails. Yeah.
Yep. Can only imagine how, because I was talking to him and he says he finds a lot of the stuff for steel. He told me he found the have you seen the In Search of skateboard?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like their heads on it. He said he found it for like $50 or something like that on eBay.
Yeah, that's the thing, people out there that are asking, where we find all this great stuff. It's just lots of digging, lots of patience, and you find them eventually. But yeah, you've got to have I don't have the patience to be doing that for ages, and then I forget and I don't look for weeks or months for stuff, and then other people get stuff, and it's you just gotta get digging basically.
Oh, another recent. I got the it's the guitar T-shirt that Chad is wearing on the Flyer Die cover, which to my surprise was not made by BBC. It's actually made by this he's like an artist, and this was like a T-shirt from his exhibit or something like that. I got that. I got Adam J. Romo, his rhinestone T-shirt of The Chain. It's one of my favorites right now. I keep wearing it. Shout out to him.
I was going to say, we gave Adam a shout out last week. He dropped another item this week, which is the dollar sign, based on the dollar sign, the chain that Nigo made for himself, actually. I don't think Pharrell's ever wore it. He may have done at some point, but I think, Nigo made it for himself. It's the green dollar sign. And Adam's made a T-shirt and a hoodie, and I think a crew neck of that, which you can get with the rhinestones and stuff. I did try to cop one, and then PayPal did some weird stuff and wouldn't let me complete the transaction, so I need to try that again at some point soon.
I actually bought I bought a few of my cousins some of his stuff, and Adam finished it and had it overnight shipped for me in time for Christmas. Shout out to him. I love buying him stuff. I love buying stuff from him. I bought the his NERD logo on hoodie for my girlfriend. That's her favorite hoodie. So shout out to him. He's a real guy. Oh, my copy of Wonderland by Khalees. I guess a lot of people, or I know the listeners will know this, but Wonderland only released in overseas. It didn't come out in the US. So finding a vinyl was a little more difficult. In the US, we're charging like $150, but I found a really clean copy. It just sounds like it was almost never played, and the sleeve is good. And so I found that, and I've completed the first 3 albums of Khalees's discography. And I also found a sealed cassette. I think it was it might have been Italy, somewhere overseas in Europe. And I'm not going to open it, but it's my cassette collection of that now. And I think that might be it for my NERD. Oh, actually, I also found this a couple years ago. Marvel was doing hip hop covers for some of their comic books, and I found the Clips one for $4 on eBay.
Bargain.
And it had it's the Spider-Man. I don't know if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, but it's the same characters, with the Spider-Ham and the Spider-Man Noirs on it. Yeah, it's so cool.
Nice. Not a bad set of pickups then.
Yeah, for my music collection. Yeah, I'm still have a lot of tuition to pay for, so I can't really go into the clothing part. My uncles actually they had a lot of the Star Trek stuff when they were younger, and they just kept it in their closet. So they've just been giving it to me and my cousins. I've just been having a luck of the draw because my uncle gave me an original NERD hat, and that was one that was signed by Chad. But this one glows in the dark, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah. I see on a page, or I've been wearing it every day now, unless it's a fitted. But I've been wearing that one every day.
Not bad presents to get from family.
A lot of people hit me up about it, or about some of the things that I've gotten from my family. I have I actually have this. It's a hoodie. I want to say it's a Bape sample, but it was only friends and family. But the hoodie itself is this that they used to make in the 2000s. It's You saw the Man Key stuff they released at ComplexCon with the I have I have the gray version of that. It's a sample from my cousin has the navy in his closet, and then my other cousin has the black version that they released. These are like our daily hoodies. It's really warm, but a lot of people hit me up about it. If anyone is impressed about anything in my collection, it's always about that hoodie. Yeah. And this was before they did ComplexCon, so it was the only one that you could really see. So that's one. Another one, I actually found this one in my garage. My dad actually used to work for Chad around the time that around that Seeing Sounds came out. It was like he would like run errands for him. It was like a part-time run errands or bring stuff to the studio. But he found something that was like a donation Clips hat with the Clips logo, like that's on the Hell Hath No Fury album. Fitted hat that was in collaboration with Commonwealth, which is a local brand around. And I just one day, like a couple years later after that, I found it in the garage. Where did this come from? And I've been wearing that one a lot too. It's like people hit me up about that one, especially Star Trek World. He really wants that hat. He said he would buy it off me, but I don't think I will. I don't think I'm gonna let go of any of my items in my closet. I can't sell anything.
He does love his hats, that boy.
Yeah,
there's quite a few that he's after. Those are certainly nice items to just be handed down or to kind of find hanging around the house.
Yeah, very lucky because a lot of these I know some people are paying astronomical amounts of the items and
you just got them laying around the house.
Yeah, some just a few. My collection's not as big as most people's, but I have some gems that I've found over the years,
and that's what matters. It's all about the quality, not the quantity. Says me that has a walk-in wardrobe just filled up with stuff.
The BBC stuff, yeah. I saw your shoe collection recently of all your ice creams out. A lot.
Yeah, well, the majority now are. I think the tennis shoes I've maybe got 20 pairs or more, plus the NMDs. I think there's only 6 or 7 pairs of those, and then there's a bunch of ice cream boutiques and deck shoes and. There's a mixture of all the different ones. I need to I've actually run out of room, so I need to buy more storage at some point soon. So I may do another picture of all of them again at some point.
I don't have any pairs of ice creams. It's a little hard to find in my size 11.
Yeah,
especially the ones that I want, or that I would really actually wear. I don't have any ice creams. I've been wearing all my BBC stuff with Timberlands and Air Maxes, and I'm like, sometimes it doesn't look right. Outfits.
Yeah. So anyone out there with size 11 ice creams, again, hit him up.
Yep. For reasonable prices, please. Reasonable.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm in college. Yeah. Help me out.
All right. What have we got next? Very quickly, 2 other things, I guess. Some news and some shout-outs, I guess. We are recording this on the 19th of February, the evening here, the day over there in the US.
It's around 12:30 here in Virginia Beach right now.
Yep. Some sad news today, which is kind of vaguely tied into what we talk about, and that's Karl Lagerfeld passing away today. He was 85, I think I read. I did not realise he was that old and still working every day. Obviously, he was, I can't remember what his job title is now, probably creative director or something like that. Something along those lines of, obviously, Chanel. Pharrell has done a lot of work with Chanel in the past. He's a big fan of Chanel. He goes to their kind of fashion show every year. They do kind of one big event every year, I think, around the time they have the Paris fashion show, as well as others dotted throughout the year for the different seasons. Pharrell kind of goes to a lot of those. He was, I think, there recently. He was there with Karl Lagerfeld recently. There's some pictures of them at the Chanel show. He passed away today. So that's a big loss in the fashion world.
Another thing I wanted to add with Karl Lagerfeld, he was really like a fashion icon. And the one thing I liked about him the most was that he wore the same thing every time you saw him in any picture, in any setting. He was wearing his white shirt, tie, and leather gloves, signature pieces.
Yeah, a very distinctive look. And again, even up until 85, with his kind of, you'd know him anywhere with that kind of outfit, the white hair, Sometimes with the beard, sometimes not with the beard. Yeah, very distinctive look, and an icon kind of in the fashion world. I've seen a lot of posts about him today from all sorts of people. So yeah, very sad, but interesting to see what Chanel will do going forward, in terms of who takes on that role and how that kind of works out. Some shout outs. I've got one this week which I was meant to mention last week and completely forgot, because I'm awful at shout outs, and anyone that hits me up I always forget about it. So if I have said I'll shout you out, please do remind me. So this is another podcast actually, made by a friend of mine, Tom Comey, and a couple of his friends. It's called Shotgun the Orcs. Orcs is in the type of lead, AUX. This focuses on, obviously we're quite niche here. We focus on NERD, Pharrell, BBC, things kind of tied into that. Theirs is more general hip-hop, a lot of UK hip-hop stuff. So if you want to hear a kind of more general hip-hop chat, or if you're getting into kind of any UK stuff, then go check out their podcast. They've got some really good discussions. They're only, I think, 4 episodes in at the moment. So they kind of have a theme for each episode, as well as kind of all the latest news and releases. The last couple have been kind of fashion in hip-hop, and they kind of briefly touch on BBC, Pharrell, obviously very kindly mention this podcast. But this week they've got, I think, an interview with a UK artist coming up, and they're going to do more of that as well. So yeah, if you want some general hip-hop chat, some UK hip-hop chat, then go and check out Shotgun the Orcs, and I'll put a link in the show notes so you can go straight over to their page. And they're also on Instagram. I think it's at Shotgun the Orcs, so go and check them out. Any shout-outs from yourself?
I think I did most of them already. Again, shout out to Adam J. Romo, shout out to Member George, shout out to Star Trek World. He always hits me up about. Another shout out to my girlfriend. She bought me a lot of the records in my collection. Yeah, if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry.
That's right. You can always come back and give them a shout out another time.
For sure. I'd love to discuss another music video or track in general.
Yeah, we've got plenty more to come. But I think that wraps it up for this week. You can find us on Instagram. The podcast is Others Podcast. I am Steve R. Penny. You can go to the website for all the show notes and information about the podcast. That is theothers.net. You can find me at superhelsinki.com. Chase, where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram at GOZUMC, and my vinyl page, which you probably prefer, is Star Trek Vinyl.
Great stuff. All right. Well, everyone, that's it for this week. Thank you for listening, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.